Ajay, MD and CEO, Zaggle. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Thanks. Thank you for having me, Ajay. Pleasure.
So I would like to begin with funding. Of late, funding for fintechs in general have cooled off. So are regulatory reforms making things hard for new gen fintechs, especially to get funding?
Well, Ajay, the analogy that I'd like to draw is our umpires making it hard to score runs. The job of the regulator is that of the umpire in a cricket match, right? They have to do their job. You can't then say that, are they making it easy or difficult? In the medium to long term, the regulations actually, support the industry. They take care of the users and their interests. And overall, the Indian regulators have been one of the most progressive globally, right? Of course, some of the decisions will be such that they will be opening up opportunities for fintechs. And there will be some other decisions which may be perceived as, restrictive in some nature, but it's in the medium to long term good for the industry as well as good for the consumers, good for all the stakeholders in the ecosystem. So I don't think it's a right way to look at whether it's hindering funding or not. Funding climate also has got impacted by a variety of geopolitical factors, right? The Ukraine war, the collapse in the pound, and so on and so forth. So we can't directly attribute a slowdown in funding in fintech only to the regulation, because overall funding has gone down. Also remember, since the last 5 years, 14% of the global fintech funding has come to India. India is number 2, right? So if we say regulation has hindered funding, then are we also giving credit to the regulator saying, oh, you got us to number 2, right? Because last 5 years we've been number 2. So I don't think either is true. I think fintech funding in India has been very robust because of the opportunity size that India presents as a country. And of course, we have a progressive regulator. So some credit goes to RBI, but I won't link the two at all.
Right. So you spoke of having umpires. Do you think there should be a DRS system for fintechs as well in that case? Something like that?
That's Ministry of Finance.
Okay.
Third umpire is Ministry of Finance. They are the third umpire, and they're also the match referee.
Right. So I'm moving on to my next question. So SEBI chief Madhabi Puri Buch said that if a customer is able to enter a fintech ecosystem with ease, then he should be able to exit it easily as well. But that is not the case. So why is there no mechanism for an easy exit? And most importantly, why is it difficult for customers to exit a fintech ecosystem in the first place?
See, I completely agree with the statement. If you're able to enter into any platform, you should be able to exit that platform equally easily, right? And all well-run platforms, all well-run companies do realize this, because the customer who's walking away today, tomorrow can come back to you if their experience has been good while they are going out, right? If you make it difficult for the customer while they are leaving you, they'll never come back. And the reality of it is, if you have a good experience, you tell, customers tell 10 people. If they have a bad experience, they tell 100 people, right? So there's a lot to gain by allowing a smooth exit. I think it's not just a fintech problem. It's a larger problem in terms of companies in the BFSI sector, companies in a wide variety of industries. I would say better run companies, better run platforms will allow consumers and customers to come in and leave equally easily, right? And companies which are not well run, which are not broad-minded or far-sighted, would try to retain the customer by hook or crook. That never works. Not in today's day and age of hyper-connectivity. It's only going to create more dissonance. So I fully endorse that statement. It makes perfect sense. And I would venture to say that's not true for just fintechs. It's true for all companies.
Right. All right. So my next question would be to you is on ONDC. Now they've just had a successful launch in Bengaluru, and now it would be coming to Delhi. But how beneficial do you think is having a third-party agency in resolving disputes between buyers and sellers as per the ONDC draft resolution?
See, why is there a third party, right? Again, the purpose is to build confidence amongst consumers, right?
Right.
As you know, more consumers want to explore more D2C brands, variety of other players apart from the established ones. The platform, ONDC platform, wants to make it easier for more buyers to come and experiment with new sellers, right? The third party agency is a confidence building measure. It is basically saying that, look, if there is a dispute, you have recourse, which builds trust in the ecosystem. So, as a concept, I would say it's definitely beneficial. More than resolving the disputes, is in building confidence, right? It is basically saying, look, you are again going to the cricket analogy, right? If there are no umpires, then you're going to end up saying, hey, look, my rules are, if like if we are kids, you say, bat meri hai, it's my bat, so I'm going to walk away with my bat if the decision goes against me, right?
Yeah.
Versus a third party, a neutral entity, which is, making sure that rules are followed, there's a fair play. So more than actually resolving disputes, it's a confidence building measure. And I'm sure once more details come in about what the third party frameworks are, etc., I'm sure it will be built in such a way that it's going to have quick resolution. So one of the things that's happening in India across board is resolutions for disputes across variety of sectors, including the legal space. The endeavor of the governments is to make it faster and more easy to be able to resolve disputes. So I see the same mindset or thought process or progressive approach being applied here as well.
So how do you see ONDC? Because you're in the spend management sector, do you see any opportunity in this particular in ONDC as of now?
Absolutely. See, wherever there is commerce, there is spends, right? And wherever there are spends, there is Zaggle. So the whole idea is to be able to help digitize those spends, reduce friction, make it seamless. And these frameworks are extremely good in terms of also broad basing the opportunity beyond the established e-commerce players to allow a wide variety. See, COVID allowed so many of entrepreneurs, so many of small businesses to do business from home, etc. Right? How do you give that a meaningful shape? That is going to spur entrepreneurship to the next level in India, and I think ONDC is going to be great for the country.
Right. All right, moving on, just recently UPI was linked to credit cards. So do you think this would create a revenue generating opportunity for UPI? Because there were a lot of confusions whether UPI transactions need to be charged last month.
I think there is some amount of discussion that has happened, but I think the Ministry of Finance has come out very clearly, the Finance Minister has come out clearly that they look at UPI as a digital public good, right? Good and good, both. I don't know whether there's an opportunity to directly charge for UPI transactions. That is for the regulator and the Ministry of Finance to decide. But definitely UPI being opened up for credit cards is a great move because it increases adoption, right? Today, when you're seeing debit card transactions go up, it's not debit card transactions that are going up or accounts, savings account transactions go up. It's not those transactions. It's because of UPI that those transactions are going up. Right? So with credit cards now being linked to UPI, you're going to see a massive uptake in credit card spends as well, right? And that is going to overall create more revenue in the credit card business. And when that greater revenue is there, all the stakeholders within that value chain will stand to gain.
All right. So my next one is also on UPI. So UPI is currently clocked about 11 lakh crore rupees in transactions in September through 678 crore transactions. So do you think it is time to increase the limit of the amount so that the customer is willing to pay through UPI a larger transaction?
See, in the medium to long term, I'm sure the regulators would do that. In the short term, I think what they would be looking at is trying to build more confidence, to reduce the number of frauds, to reduce the number of grievances. As confidence gets built, it's better that you take a conservative approach. You wait for these things to settle down. So I think limit should be increased in the medium to long term, but it's not something which is a showstopper today. I mean, vast majority of the transactions that happen today are covered by the UPI limit, right? For the larger transactions, most of them are B2B. Those are, you have enough and more rails in terms of RTGS, NEFT, etc., built in to be able to enable those transactions.
Okay,
So I don't think there's a crying need to increase this limit, to be honest.
So slow and steady wins the race. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
So,
because once the confidence is gone, let us say something goes wrong and confidence goes down, right? Coming back and getting people to believe in the platform again is very tough. Right. So it's important to go slow and steady, especially in a nation like India, where there are a lot of people who are not that affluent also. Money is important to people. We need to safeguard those people first.
Right. All right. So my last question to you is on how do you see spend management as a sector and your view on the opportunity, especially during this festive season?
Look, spend management sits at the heart of any enterprise or any business, right? Because most businesses have an HRMS, they have an ERP, right? The ERP could be something which is as simple as a homegrown solution, or it could be a very state-of-the-art system. But everything else in between in these companies, and we work with the largest of large enterprise companies and mid-size and SMEs and startups, everything else is what I call the Zaggle white space. And this white space is dominated by emails and Excel. All information between employees, between decision makers is all shared on email and Excel. And what does that do? That creates a lot of, clogged mailboxes. That also creates a scenario where you've got a lot of people following up for information across board. So there is a huge information asymmetry. When you bring all this information onto a platform, decisions are better, decisions are faster, decisions are also made in a more transparent way, right? And when you link that to the actual event of making a payment, you are able to then ensure that the entire experience is seamless. So opportunities in spend management are massive in India. This is a category which is very large already in markets like the US and Europe. You've got massive companies, multi-billion dollar companies, both in the US as well as Europe. And you're seeing companies emerge out of other markets like Singapore, Dubai, and India. We've got Zaggle as the market leader in spend management, but you just scratched the surface. The opportunity is humongous. If you look at it across segments, whether it's enterprise, whether it's mid-market, whether it's SME or startup, we just launched our accounts payable and vendor management platform called Zoyer. Zoyer has seen tremendous response. Looks like everybody seems to be looking for a way to manage their vendors better. We married with our corporate credit card product called the Founders Card, and this entire combination of the software plus credit card is extraordinarily powerful because it allows companies to be able to manage their spends 360 degrees.
All right. So unfortunately, that's all for the time we have for this discussion. Thank you so much, sir, for coming and sharing.